Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to make yourself a cup of coffee or hot coffee if you want, because today we have very interesting stories, and one of them is a story about a woman who dropped her phone down the elevator shaft and made up her story not to pay money. Please subscribe if you haven't and I hope you'll enjoy it. So have severe social anxiety and am currently waiting to have an autism diagnosis. When I get extremely stressed, I get a sharp pain in my right side, which stops me from walking long distances and sometimes even just walking at all. I had a psychiatric doctor for mental health appointment which make me super anxious, since I have to repeat the same stuff about how basically I'm still in the same position as always and I am still not getting proper help with certain stuff. Me and my mum get a taxi there, which drains my energy a fair amount, but I deal with it since it's way more better than a bus. We enter the clinic and find that it's busier than usual. There are 10 seats in a small room and 5 people were already occupying them, and them being adults, they were waiting for their children to come out from being seen. I sat at the end near the door where I always go to when I enter. My mum checks me in at the reception, and so now that's all that's left to do is to wait to be called. These doctors are usually early with their patients, and I can't remember a time where I went in and wasn't seen at least 15 minutes before our scheduled appointment, so I wasn't too worried about the waiting schedule. My pain was slowly getting worse, so I was trying to focus and read my book when a loud woman came into the office. She had a pram with her and a son who I assume is about 12 or 13 as he was wearing a local secondary school uniform. When she came in she immediately started banging on the glass of the receptionist. They have a glass screen that they open when someone arrives, but shut it when they don't need to talk to anyone. Told the lady that her son was here giving no info apart from his name. You need to go through addresses and phone numbers, and also prove who the carer parent is, which made her even angrier since they didn't know who he was and that he is the most important client they have. Quotes from the M herself. She gave up and told them all the necessary details, signed in and gave her identification, then walked towards her son, who, in the meantime, had sat in the chair next to me. There were no other chairs next to him. The chairs were in 2 rows of 4 and a pair right by the doctor's entrance. Me and my mum were sat in the middle of the 4, the son sat next to me. 2 people had already collected their kids by the time she had finally told the receptionist who she was and confirming who her son was, and I assumed she would sit in the 2 paired seats, so she would be near her son and have space for the pram. Nope. She walked straight up to me, leading to the following encounter. EM. Entitled Mum, me. Oh well me, mother. My mum, excuse me. Dear. You're sitting in my seat, so can you move over a couple? Now I was in a lot of pain at this point and didn't want to move since I would be going in soon. Well I was here first so Well I know dear, but I need to sit next to my son. He won't sit next to anyone other than me, since he has really bad autism and hates being touched and near other people. Look, my daughter was here first, and he didn't seem to have a problem sitting next to her, so why don't you just sit over there, pointing to the 2 separate chairs. I don't know if you heard, but we are very important clients. Yes, very important. So important that the receptionist didn't know who you were. And he has super bad autism. I deserve to sit next to my son. He's extremely smart and sat next to you, knowing that your brat would move for me. Look, my daughter also has autism, but that doesn't mean that I have the right to be an idiot for her sake. Same goes for you. Plus, she is in a lot of pain caused by her disability, and moving is very hard for her. So let her sit there and leave her alone. Disability, she doesn't have a disability. She's not blind or in a wheelchair, and she doesn't even look disabled. She doesn't have one. This confused me, since she literally just said that her son had autism. Like, girl. Your son has a disability just like I do. And you would know how much pain autism can cause, because your son is goddamn autistic. The son had noticed the situation and headed towards the 2 seats to end the situation. EM tried to stop him, but he shook her off and sat by the wall. M sat next to him huffing about what happened and telling her son off for moving when we were the ones who were supposed to move. The doctor called us in about 10 minutes later and we had the meeting like usual. Whilst I did have that horrible experience that led me to have an anxiety attack, I found out that there was a school willing to interview me to see if I could go. I've been out of school so long and have been looking for a school willing to take me back a year, and the doctor told me that there was one who wanted to talk it over, glad that it didn't end up as bad as others' EM problems had, and that the son was kind enough to move. Also, I just want to say that if you are at a children's mental health clinic, please be respectful. Everyone there is tired about it. Everyone is pissed off about the waiting lists, and everyone there is dealing with a horrible part of their life. If you are there, then you and the people in the waiting rooms probably aren't dealing with a visible disability, such as blindness, deafness or mobility issues. But do know that those things can come along with mental illnesses and disabilities, just like mental issues can come along with visual disabilities. So you were at a mental health clinic, which in most cases is a place where you don't see disabilities, and some which thinks you don't have one. Well, why would you be there if you didn't have a disability? People these days just make crap up to get their way. I work for a company that services elevators. This includes calls from our clients, as well as answering the emergency phones inside the elevators if people become stuck. 95% of the time that we get a call from inside an elevator, it's just kids or someone who hit the button by accident. 4% of the time we actually have someone stuck, and the other 1% of the time, it's Karen. My phone rings, so I glance over to check which language I need to answer in, and I see that it's actually from inside an elevator. I pick it up, thinking it's another prank call, find the address in my system, and prepare to say hello. Is there anyone there? For about 30 seconds, then go back to playing Stardew Valley on my phone. Not today. Today, Karen had other plans. I quickly get out the standard intro, and to my surprise, there is actually someone on the other end of the line. Hi. I need to speak to a manager or something. Yes, she actually said or something with the inflection of a question. Now, there is so much stupid packed into that one question that I am almost speechless. Let's unpack the stupid, shall we? Stupid point 1. She is using an emergency elevator phone and wasting an emergency response line's time to try to make a complaint. I know I said I was playing Stardew Valley, but don't judge me. Stupid point 2. Her question doesn't make sense. Does she want my manager? We have thousands of employees and dozens of offices. Does she want the account rep for her building? Does she want the supervisor of the technician who handles her building? Does she want the manager of her local branch? Is this about a bill? I don't know what Karen wants, and I am pretty sure I left my Nintendo Switch at home, so it can't be that. Stupid point 3. We cannot give or share any information to anyone who is not with building management. In fact, anyone who is not with building management should not even know our phone number. At the time, I had no idea, but Karen has already been told this by building management and does not know our number, which is why she is calling from the emergency phone. Can I ask what this is regarding? No. Give me a manager. Well, Karen. The problem is, we have hundreds of managers who manage different things. I need to know what type of thing you're having trouble with, so I know which manager to transfer you to. The manager in charge of elevators. By now, my spider sense is tingling, and I am opening up the building history. Something stinks, and it's the all too familiar smell of Karen's crap. Please hold while I get the manager of elevators. I place Karen on hold to get her good and wound up before I make her feel stupid. Hi Karen, thank you for holding. Before I put you through to the manager of elevators, I just need to confirm, did you call us this morning to request a technician come to retrieve a phone dropped down the crack beneath the elevator door on the 9th floor? No. She knows she's busted. And at the time were you told to contact building management, as we cannot dispatch a technician unless building management requests it or we have someone trapped in an elevator? No, she knows what's coming next. And after that, did you call again pretending to be trapped in the elevator with a baby in an effort to bypass building maintenance and get us to send a technician to the site? I can hear her starting to tear up. I was trapped in the elevator and there was no ventilation and my baby was getting very hot and I needed to get him to the doctor. I understand. Did you try dialing 911 while you were trapped? No, because she was about to say she dropped it down the elevator and was realizing she was about to get caught in a lie. It was out of batteries. Please hold. I put her on mute to get her even more wound up, go to the bathroom and come back. Hi Karen, thanks for holding. Hi Karen, are you still there? I'm here. Okay, great. I was worried I'd lost you. Now, when the technician arrived, he found that the elevator was still working and diagnostics showed no errors. In fact, in the 35 minutes between your call and the technician arriving, the elevator was used 8 times, and that there is no record of anyone being trapped. Yes. That's what he said, but he wasn't there. I was trapped for over an hour with my baby who has a fever. Please hold. Eat my sandwich. Chicken salad. I love my life. Hi Karen, thanks for holding. I just need to confirm, when our technician arrived to have you released from the elevator, were you waiting in the lobby, and did you demand he retrieve your phone from the elevator shaft? Yes, and when he told you to contact building management to get the $900 elevator pit retrieval fee approved, did you begin screaming at him to retrieve your phone immediately, or you would get him fired? Well, I wasn't screaming, and when this happened, who was watching the baby? What baby? The one you were stuck in the elevator with that had a fever. Oh, she was upstairs. I put her down. So you left an infant alone, so you could yell at the technician. Are you telling me how to parent my? Please hold. Water my blueberries in Stardew Valley. Okay Karen, what I am doing right now, I am putting a note in the system to have your phone retrieved free of charge from the elevator shaft. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. We will be retrieving it for you on the next scheduled maintenance day, which will be within the next 3 to 6 weeks. 3 to 6 weeks? You can't send someone today. Sure, but first, you need to contact building management to call us and approve the $900 elevator shaft retrieval fee, in addition to the $500 fine for faking an emergency that you'll be receiving from your landlord. Karen hung up before I was able to transfer her to the manager of elevators. I later spoke with building management, who was livid. Karen had originally spoken to them about the phone, however she refused to be billed for it, so management refused to make the call. Her baby wasn't sick. In fact, it didn't exist, unless her baby is 4 cats. I hope she isn't too surprised in 3 to 6 weeks when she gets the shattered pieces of her phone back. Amazing. This story actually made me laugh out loud. Good job, Op. The baby that wasn't real was also a boy and a girl. He was sick and needed a hospital, then she put her down for a nap. How she could forget her own story. Backstory. When I first met the man who became my husband, we were not well off. He moved across the country to come live with me and had not a penny to his name. He proposed to me without a ring, which I was perfectly okay with. It was incredibly romantic. He popped the question spontaneously and is still one of the happiest days of my life. He promised when he was better off financially, he would buy any ring that I wanted. A while after our engagement, the day came where he surprised me by taking me to a jewelry store. He had saved a $5,000 budget, plus a little wiggle room for some credit if needed. He told me to go nuts. It was so fun and romantic. I tried on dozens of rings. Diamonds, platinum bands, lesser gemstones, etc. Then I saw a set of steel and titanium rings. They were originally designed for the grooms, not for the brides. But I had never been a big diamond fan, and I preferred simple flat rings to mounted stones. I ended up falling in love with a super simple black titanium ring with angled grooves. It was gorgeous. It was exactly what I wanted. And best of all, they were cheap, less than $200. Husband liked them too, so much that we got him a matching band. We decided to use them as both the engagement ring and the actual wedding ring. We had to special order them, as the jewelry store didn't stock our sizes on hand. I got a surprise when they arrived to find that husband had requested engraving on the inside of mine. It said my Precious. I'm a huge LOTR fan, I love that ring to death, I wear it to this day, and it still makes me smile. The story. This took place 7 years after I got married. I worked at a chain sandwich shop where we assemble the sandwiches in front of the customer. My store was next to a yoga studio, CrossFit training, and plastic surgeon's office. So we got our fair share of Karens and holier than thou rich people. It wasn't uncommon for somebody to drive up in a $100K sports car, toting a Prada bag, and sunglasses that cost more than my rent. They almost always came in to order the most picky and complicated subs, then complained about the price. We were quite used to this kind of people. But this lady took the cake. Enter the entitled Karen and her bratty teenage daughter. They looked the part to a T. They proceeded to order the usual complicated and picky subs, asking tons of questions about the nutritional info of every item. To assembling the food, we wear clear plastic food service gloves. Because my ring is flush to my hand and won't rip the gloves, I had approval from the manager to wear it at work. While assembling this woman's sandwich, her teenage daughter notices my ring. Oh, that's cute. Is that a promise ring? No, that's my wedding ring. Scoffing loudly, are you serious? Yes, it's both my engagement and wedding ring. It has been for several years. Karen looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You have a cheap husband." I balked at her comment, but tried to remain professional. "That may be your opinion, ma'am. But I happen to like this ring. I picked it out myself." "Then you have terrible taste in jewelry." She then turned to her daughter. "If your father had given me a ring that ugly, I would have left him on the spot. Make sure your future husband gets you a ring that at least has diamonds in it." I was floored. I usually get tons of compliments about my ring. I never expected someone to insult it, let alone straight to my face. I was so flabbergasted I couldn't even continue working on her food. I excused myself and went into the back and told my coworker to finish them up for me. I couldn't even stand to be around them. When I told my manager the whole story, he almost didn't believe me. We had to watch the security footage to prove it had actually happened. Never saw that entitled woman again. Glad she didn't come back. I still shake with rage every time I recount the story. I still have that ring on my hand today. And it's still the most beautiful, wonderful ring I could ever hope for. I love my husband very much. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And that's matter far more than any jewelry. I think people in service jobs should be allowed to pepper spray severely rude people. And I literally read the story, feeling cuteness at how adorably cheesy the engraving was. Makes me want to do something like that for my future wife. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about a woman who threatened to kill Op's dog cause her son was hurt. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.